Hey everybody, and welcome back to Life with Lolo. It's time for our weekly recap of Married at First Sight. This is season 12, episode 6, and it was titled Defending Your Wife. Alright, y'all, before I jump into this recap review, if you are not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell. And if you end up liking this recap review, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button along with the share button. Oh, God, y'all, this episode. I knew it was going to annoy me. That's why I waited to watch it, because I knew somebody was going to annoy me. And in this case, it was like 5 somebodies who annoyed me. So let's just jump into it. I am going to do the recap as the way the show went on, because they had 4 different group settings or whatever. So I'm just going to do it the way it showed on air. So this recap review may be a little bit longer than what it usually is. Again, the show is 2 hours. I'm not giving y'all everything, but I just wanted to let y'all know what the outline was going to be. Anyway, this episode takes place between days 4 and day 7. So day 4, Eric and Virginia, they wake up. They're talking about how well they're doing together. I don't know what time it was, child, but she got pina colada on her mind, okay? And he like, well, you can get everything you desire, everything you want, okay? So whatever you want, you can get it. And she like, okay. He was like, always. She was like, all right, okay, all right. Claire and Ryan, they trying to figure out what they gonna do for the day. Haley and Jacob, child, I don't know what they was doing. This and Bree, they was so cute together. She reminds us that his grandmom is doing well. And I was like, he is like on the verge of saying, I love you. Like, he is this close, okay? Because he is smitten, child. And then we see Paige and Chris. They all hugged up and she's smiling. So I'm like, you really forgave him at dinner. Oh, okay, girl. Then we see Clara and Ryan. So let's go. They're eating breakfast together. He reminds us that he has a strict regimen and he does the same thing and eats the same thing every morning. He drinks a smoothie and eats a kind bar every morning. And she like, I spice it up. I, get a omelet this day. I might not get breakfast that day. I switch it up or whatever. So he was like, no, I do the same thing. She said, just like my pappy. Okay. Then they started talking about school, and she said she was in a drama club or something like that, and she loved being on the stage. He said he was a class clown. They started talking about MySpace and stuff like that. And then they get on to people she used to date. So she said she dated a lot of people who weren't into her like that. And I was like, And then she said in college, she dated a lot of frat boys. And then she said when she started flying, she was equal opportunity. She dated anybody and everybody. And she said she just had bad date after bad date after bad date, going on the apps and stuff. So she said getting married is what she really wanted. And he is what she really wanted. And she's blessed to have him by her side or whatever. And then she tells him that she falls in love all the time. And so, that makes him uncomfortable because he's never said that he's fallen in love with anybody. And he tells her that, and that makes her uncomfortable. So now she's like, well, why would they put somebody together that loves somebody all the time and has never said I love you to anybody? Why would they put them together? That's a bad combo. And to me, I don't feel like that's a concern so much, because when he does say it, or if he does say, I love you, I'm in love with you, it will mean that much more because he's never said it before. So you'll know that he means it. Like, like he really put stock into this. He really thought about this. This is what it is. And I love you. I'm in love with you. And this is, I'm going to be your forever or potential forever or whatever like that. So I don't see how that is a big concern. Now, if y'all together 100 years or whatever, then he still ain't say it, child. And that's a whole problem. But he just didn't want to say it, and it didn't mean anything. And she said he's been in long-term relationships and stuff, and he's just never said it. So maybe he had like a strong or I don't know. But he said he just didn't. So I think that would just mean that much more when he does say it. But whatever, child. And this is where they separate the groups. So it's a girls meet up, and then the guys meet up. So the girls are mixing drinks, the guys are playing craps. So the girls are eating like oysters, shrimp, and they're making some drinking drinks and stuff. And then they kind of start talking about some things. So before they start talking, Clara says that, a lot's been going on, especially with Paige or whatever. And she was saying, like, everybody's having a good time, minus Paige, of course, especially with the info that she just got. And she was saying, like, she was shocked but not surprised by Chris. And I'm like, do you know him, though? Like, how can you not be surprised or shocked by him saying that he has a baby on the way? Like, do you know him? Like, what transpired between, I guess day one from, because I don't think they count the wedding as day one. So from day one to day 4, what kind of interaction did they have because Virginia later on said she wasn't really feeling Chris. So what kind of interaction did everybody have with him that makes them think like, okay, I'm not surprised by his actions and yada, yada, yada. So that had me thinking. Anyway, while they're talking, they want to do like a temperature check. Bree says that she's doing good. They're a good match and everything. She said that she did notice that he was unstructured. And it was because they had like 15 minutes to come downstairs. But he was on his phone while she was like getting showered, getting dressed and stuff like that. And he was like, well, it's only going to take me 10 minutes. And she was like, well, no, how about put your phone down, get in the shower and get ready and stuff. So she thinks that's going to be a concern. Virginia was saying like she was telling Eric that she was semi promiscuous, about that she's pro-choice, that she's, all into gay marriage, gay love and everything because her sister is gay, and he's very conservative. And I'm like, oh, Lord, this conservative word. Oh God. Not Eric. Virginia's family is real like free spirit and that nothing's wrong with that. But Eric's family is just not that. And I just want to see how this all going to play out between when they get back to the real world to see how it's going to play out with the families. Because like right now they're in like this drunkard stage or whatever and having a good time on a honeymoon, but when they get back to Atlanta, that's when shit gonna hit. And I wanted to see how this about to play out. But anyway, she was telling them how, he has a problem with her male friends and stuff. And then we see like an earlier clip where she was actually crying about how he's not going to take well to her male friends and stuff. And Clara was telling her like, look, maybe they need to just meet up, have like a sit down together, and you let him know like they are important to me, you are important to me, and I want y'all to all come together or whatever like that. So she's saying like he has an issue with her male friends and stuff, and they're like, oh wow, why would he have? And she was like, well, he claims that they want to sleep with me, but I'm like, no, they're my brothers and stuff. So hopefully they'll figure that out. And then Clara says, Haley said that she being around somebody 24/7 is draining, and she needs to recharge and stuff like that. And because she's independent and she's used to being by herself for 7 years. We heard the story, child. Clara says that everything is good between her and Ryan, and that if she would have made him in a machine or something, out would have popped Ryan or whatever. But she's concerned because he's never said the L word to anybody or whatever like that. And then somebody came up with them being, how about I say freaks? Them being intimate. So we find out that Haley and Jacob slept together, child. But the way she said it, like, we was both drunk. We was just there and, it just happened and we had sex and that's all I got. Like, the way she said it made me think that they were not sexually compatible, that it was weak. Okay, because she just seemed real uncomfortable. She did not seem like over ecstatic to say like, oh yeah, we had sex. Like, she really wasn't. Yeah. So I was just like, Ryan and Clara have had sex because she said they had a good physical connection or whatever, but Ryan wants to keep their sex life private, so she's gonna respect that or whatever like that. Haley did tell them it was super fun. Who says that? This ain't no damn amusement park ride. It was super fun. Like, I was just like, girl, stop. And then Paige says, like, Paige never said that she was intimate with him, but yeah, but I think they know that she was intimate with him. But she was saying like it's a lot, and then they came up with her being a stepmom, and that's going to be a lot. And then she was saying like she wants to honor her marriage and stuff, and she just hopes everything kind of turns around and everything gets better because it can't get any worse than this. And I'm like, girl, you don't know Chris. So Chris like, oh, for real? Hold my beer. Hold my beer. But Clara was like, girl, you better than me. I said, oh, why you call that girl stupid? That's not nice. Anyway, on the guy's side, Vincent says, you know, him and Bree are enjoying each other. She's smart, but she's a little bossy, and that may be an issue. Jacob says they have a good dynamic, but they've only been married for less than a week, so he wants to see how it's going to play out. Eric is drunk. He is like sitting there talking, and then he like, I'm like, dude, really? So he is just drunk. He don't know what he talking about. He's talking about he on cloud 9. He can't even describe how she makes him feel because your brain is all smooshed because you're drunk. So he can't even get it together. Ryan and Eric say they both enjoying their honeymoon and stuff. Chris asked Eric, like, you been drinking? He was like, no, you know, I had a little couple drinks and stuff. Everybody looking like, you done had more than a couple, okay? Jacob says his biggest issue with Haley is that she has a big network of friends. So she has like 50 friends, and that's going to be an issue because he has a lot of friends. So it's going to be a problem there. Child, while he was talking, while Jacob was talking, Eric was sleeping. But I mean, I don't blame him. Jacob can be kind of dry. But anyway, Ryan says that him and Clara is clicking, and he says he's more reserved than, you know, what Clara is and stuff. And somehow, no, Chris brought up intimacy. And I'm like, dude, you should be the last person to bring up some damn intimacy. Eric is saying, like, they just been easy and he could have slept with her if he wanted to, but he just wants to take his time and get to know her. It seemed like he wanted to say, like, he better than them because he's taking his time, but, like, nobody cares. Like, you're married. Like, have sex. Like, who's going to be like, oh, y'all had sex already? Like, who cares? Like, whatever. Because he just kept saying, like, I could have been had it, but, you know, we just want to get to know each other and stuff. Boy, no one's giving you a cookie or a brownie for not having sex with Virginia, because child bye. Anyway, what happened? Eric Easy. Oh, then it was like this awkward silence after Eric was talking. So he must have said more and production just kind of cut it out. Jacob says everything is happening naturally. And then Eric, he calls Chris out saying like, look, what was going on with you and Paige and stuff. And then he was like, well, me and Paige, we had a conversation and I told her that she's number one and then I'm fully invested and then she's fully invested. And so, you know, we just working through it. And so Eric kept saying like, well, you need to step up and you need to man up because she is important right here. Like, she is important and you need to man up, man. You need to man up. I was just like, if you don't shut your drunk ass up, he was getting on my nerves. Because he was like, Paige is here for you, man, and you just need to man up. So Chris was like, well, I am manning up. Like, that's not a problem. So then he tells us that he feels as though Eric was being real disrespectful because he kept telling him to man up. And I was like, everything is disrespectful to you, Chris. Somebody asked you want some ketchup. That's disrespectful. Somebody say this. That's disrespectful. So, like, shut up. Like, look up the word disrespectful, okay? Like, Day 5, y'all. Haley and Jacob, they eating lunch or whatever, and she tells us again how she been single for 7 years, and she's just, I'm like, girl, Haley getting on my nerves, y'all. Haley is getting on my nerves, like really getting on my nerves. We understand that you've been single for 7 years, boo-boo, but you got on this show Married at First Sight. So you knew you was getting married to someone, and you knew it was going to be a process because you knew it was going to be a stranger. So like, stop telling us 120 times that you've been single for 7 years. We got it, boo. But you need to kind of let your guard down, because the reason why you got on this show is because you were ready to share your life with someone. Not keep telling that person you've been single for 7 years and that you independent and this is awkward for you. So say, okay, for day one, I've been, single for 7 years, blah, blah, blah. So they know, this may be a little awkward. I may be a little awkward because I haven't been with anybody in a long time, but I'm going to go through this process, yada, yada, yada. That's day one. Day 4, day 5, we don't need to hear that again. We already know. We already know. So, she did say she was starting to like him, but I can't tell. And Jacob can't tell. And I don't know about y'all. Can y'all tell? Because, yeah. But he brings up moving in together. And then she got to let us know how she was so independent and it's going to be an adjustment and she not the clingy type. And he like, well, I really can't gauge your affection. Like, I want to reach out to you and I want to hold you and stuff, but I can't really gauge it because you seem real reserved about that stuff. And I don't want to keep initiating it and you feel real different because it's making me second guess myself. And I don't want to put you out or whatever like that. So he was like, I don't know if you like me or whatever. This would have been a good opportunity for her to say, yes, I like you. However, I'm just still getting comfortable with this marriage or something of that nature, because she had already told us that she was starting to like him. So why couldn't you just tell him, yes, I do like you. However, this is still a little uncomfortable for me and I'm going to work on opening up and being more open or whatever. So I'm like, she didn't say that. She was just like, I got a lot to work on or whatever. She ain't even tell the man that she liked him, because he all like, well, I don't know if she liked me. She real difficult to read, and I wish she kind of opened up and put her guard down, and, she really wasn't, like, what did he say 2 days ago? We was doing fine, and then after sex, she wasn't real receptive to me anymore. I said, because it was bad. It was bad. Jacob, like, y'all wasn't sexually compatible. Like, I don't know. Maybe he was nervous, y'all. Maybe he was nervous. It was his first time with Haley. Maybe he have a beautiful, because Haley is a pretty lady. Maybe he was like, oh my God, I gotta impress her and stuff. And he was doing some weird stuff. I don't know. Or he was doing the doggy hump. Yeah. But maybe he was doing something that was turning her off. And he was nervous. Or maybe he was a quick pumper. Oh, maybe that's what it was. Oh, or maybe he ain't stack up. I wonder. She ain't going to tell us, though. She ain't going to tell us. But we can speculate, okay? So, but let's just say he had everything going on. And he was just nervous, okay? Maybe they should have did it again to see if that was the issue. But the issue, because if she was real receptive to him before sex, and then after sex, she kind of like, it gotta be the sex. It gotta be the sex. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. So then we are with Paige and Chris. Okay. So he's telling her he appreciates her. And he says her sticking around is remarkable. And she's saying, like, what do they think about when they move to back to Atlanta? Things will be different. It will be like a different it will be the real world type thing or whatever. Even though she kind of living in the real world in Vegas, she ain't really getting the honeymoon that I think she wanted. But at any rate, she was saying, like, I can't wait for you to meet Bentley because it's her dog and stuff. And he was just like, oh yeah, I'm really excited. Like, he was not really excited about the dog. He didn't really want to do nothing with the dog. She was like, well, what about the dog being in the bed? He was like, hell no. And it sounded like he had dogs. So I don't understand because I'm like, well, maybe he's not a dog person. But it sounded like he had dogs. So she said, well, do you let your dog sleep in the bed with you? And he was like, oh, hell no. So she was like, oh, okay, well, what about you walking them and stuff? He was like, I ain't say all that. So he's talking about something. Oh, you take care of it. I'll play with it. So this how you feel about the dog. How you gonna feel about your baby? And so she was kind of like, I'm committed to him to being a whole stepmama, but he can't even be like a person to my dog. Like, what the hell is going on or whatever? And he was like, so she told him, like, I don't really feel like you committed or whatever. He was like, well, no, as long as the dog ain't really biting my shoes and nothing like that. She was like, no, the dog ain't gonna do all that or whatever. He was like, oh, okay, well, it ain't gonna be no issue. She was just like, oh, okay. And so then somehow I was like, well, what are you bringing to the house? So she said, well, just bringing some clothes, the wedding gifts that my family, gave or whatever. And here he go. Well, if it's money, we need to split it 50-50. She was like, well, we married, so it was just going to a joint account or whatever. And he was like, well, I don't know about all that. So she was like, well, I think a joint account is necessary for bills and stuff. So he was like, she said, because I make a third of what you make or whatever. And he was like, no, like a quarter. So she was like, okay, whatever, like a quarter of what you make. So my little check will have to make something happen in the household or whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And he said it's best to have she said it's best to have separate accounts or something. Did she say it was best to have separate accounts? No, he said he's not into joint accounts. He wants to keep things separate or whatever. And he said he'll give her whatever she needs or whatever. And she was just like, well, I didn't get married for for money or whatever. I got married for love, to build and to grow with somebody. But she feels as though he's only one-minded and it comes off real selfish, and that's alarming for her. And I'm like, girl, that's the only thing that was alarming for you? All the other things, that was the only thing? But whatever. And my take is, people can do what they want to do. I'm with the whole joint account for bills and stuff, but I feel like we should just have separate accounts, put our money in there, put money in for bills, put money in for trips and any other household things. We need to okay, get this couch, split it, or whoever got it, whatever. That's how I feel like it should be. Not that whole, oh, well, all our checks going to, no, I'm not with that. Been there, done that, never doing that again. Okay. Yeah, no. Anyway, Virginia and Eric. So it is liquor bottles galore. Tito's, Fireball, beer, it's like bottles. So they've been having a good ass time. Okay. Nothing wrong with having a good time on your vacation, your honeymoon, your whatever. But this ain't Eric. And he even says it's not him. He doesn't do this. He's trying to keep up with Virginia. And I don't see why he feels as though he has to do that. And I don't understand why Virginia feels like he has to do that just because he's married to her. Or he's married to her and she's married to him. So they both think they got to keep up with each other. That's not how that works. If I don't drink like that and my partner does, I might have a glass of wine or something while my partner does whatever she does or whatever like that. But I'm not going to sit up there and drink as much as my partner drinking, knowing goddamn well my ass gonna be on face down somewhere. Just no. No. So I don't understand why he feels as though he has to do that. That's just crazy to me. He tells her, he says it's going to be a concern for him when they get back to Atlanta, especially with the partying, because she loves to drink. And she tells us again, she drinks Thursday through Sunday with her friends. She loves to party. And he well, I can't do that, especially with my career. Nobody said you had to do that, Eric. Nobody said you had to do that. You can still, if you come home, have a little glass of bourbon or whiskey, whatever the hell you drink, or martini, whatever the hell you drink. And even if you don't drink, and you come home and you want a cup of water, and she then drunk a whole bottle of Fireball by herself, then that's on her. That don't mean you gotta be oh shit, let me get that bottle, let me take it to the head to catch up with you. No, you don't have to do that. So why are you trying to stop her from doing what she doing? You already saw from day one, the wedding, that she like to get down. Come on. So I don't understand why this is just, that stuff is so annoying to me. because he wants her to basically stop drinking as much as she drinking. He wants her to stop partying. He like, well, you married now, and this is the married life and stuff. And she like, well, I like to have fun with my friends and stuff. And he like, well, you can have fun with your friends as long as it don't affect us. But remember, you're married. You're married now. You're not single. So it's not like he want to control her, and she's not with it because she says she's stubborn and she's always going to be a drinker, and she doesn't like the way he's trying to change her and stuff. And it's just a weird dynamic. And then at the end, he ended up sounding like he was her daddy. I was like, what is going on here? Like, I didn't like that at all. Like, I understand she needs to slow it down because she's 26 years old and she needs to slow it down, especially if she said she was trying to get serious in a career and stuff or whatever. But she needs to slow it down. But for him to just come off like he was judging her and all this other stuff because she likes to drink and you can't keep up with her, like, dude, nobody asked you to. Anyway, Brianna and Vincent, they in the bathroom. It was his ring. His ring ends up flying off his finger, so obviously it needs to be resized. And then she was saying something, and he said he noticed that she was kind of bossy or whatever. And he says he needs to be patient and remain open and stuff. And then they're in the bed, and she was asking him, like, what have I done? Have I done anything that annoys you or whatever? And he doesn't want to answer the question. So she says, well, you don't really pay that much attention to me. I always have to be like, Vincent. And then, then eventually you'll, say something to me. He was like, well, I just got a lot on my mind and stuff. And, it just takes my time with things. The way he was saying stuff, she looked like she didn't really receive that very well. Cause then he was saying like, he don't like to be rushed. And, he was telling us he don't like to be rushed. And then he was just saying like, that just is who I am and I'm not changing. That's what he said to us. And then she said that he annoyed her today, and then she turned off the lights. So I was like, what was going on with that? And then day 6, so it was the next day, Vincent and Brianna are going skydiving. So like indoor skydiving. It looked real fun. And he tells us that, after the cameras left and everything, they had a conversation, and he told her that she was being assertive and he took it as disrespect. And he says that he felt like a little upset and a little mad about it or whatever, but he wants them to continue to have a good time. They look like they had a good time with indoor skydiving and stuff. She did say he was, she had fun and he was trying to impress her and stuff. And she was saying like, her last boyfriend, she supported him and everything, but he ended up pushing her away. So to find somebody who supports her and who has her back the way Vincent does is very refreshing for her. So she likes that. And she said that after their conversation last night, she did feel a little upset because it came across to her as, what did she say? It came across to her as she was being, something, I think she said bossy or something she said. And then they had a talk in the skydiving place, and then she was just saying like it just came off rude and she doesn't want to be disrespectful or be bossy to her husband, and maybe she is bossy. Like, girl, you bossy. Your whole family says you bossy. You're bossy. Okay? So you just need to kind of adjust. And she did say that she was going to adjust and stuff, and she doesn't want him to hold back, because once you hold back and you keep stuff in, you bury it. And then when something little happens, it's kaboom, you blow up and stuff. So she wants him to continue to be open and share stuff because they are each other's safe space. So I really like that part. And I think they'll be fine because they seem to communicate very well. And then, child, here go the drama. Okay, the drama. So then it's Clara and Ryan, Paige and Chris, Eric and Virginia. So they went like ATVing, but it really wasn't like the typical ATVs. It was like it looked like it was a buggy or something, but they still said it was ATVs, but whatever. It looked fun. They looked like they had a good time. And Clara, Virginia, and Chris, this is after the ride ended or whatever. I guess they're getting some water and everybody walking around and stuff. And them three are in the little triangle talking. So Clara tells us that, she said everybody's having a good time, but she can see like Paige is just not herself and her main concern is Paige or whatever. And so she wants to talk to Chris. she says, well, Chris, what's going on with Paige and stuff like that. And he's saying, like, we discussed it. We had a conversation or whatever. And, we're going to work through it and stuff. And so Virginia and Claire both was like, well, she's a strong lady. You lucky you got such a strong lady because, like, all of us would have ran or whatever. So he was like, okay. And so Clara says that she's concerned about Paige. And Chris is like, we're doing good. It's just been kind of difficult and stuff. And then he says, what do he say? He doesn't feel like everybody's support is genuine. And basically, he's saying because they supporting Paige and not him. So he don't feel like everybody's support is genuine. And it's coming off as fake concern. So Clara was like, fake? Ain't nobody fake. And then Virginia was like, well, ain't nobody fake. And he was like, well, particularly you and your husband, Eric, okay? So he was talking to them too. So then she like, well, ain't nobody fake. We have a genuine concern and stuff. And he was like, well, y'all coming at me in my business and I don't owe y'all an effing explanation. Like, he getting mad. He going, oh, mad. So Virginia like, well, I feel like you need to go over and beyond or above and beyond and show her that you care and stuff like that. And he like, well, I am going over and beyond and stuff. And Virginia was like, well, not the way Paige is saying it or whatever or saying. And he was like, what are you talking about? I went over and beyond by telling her that I had my ex-fiance was pregnant. I said, that's not going over and beyond. Like, that was eventually going, like, that's not going over and beyond, sir. That's not going over and beyond. Over and beyond is telling her, I'm sorry, what you needed to do, because you are her husband and she needed to know, was tell her that you had a fiance pregnant. Going over and beyond is making her feel safe and secure in the marriage versus her feeling like she don't know where to go or what she should do or if you going back with your ex or what have you. That's going over and beyond, making her feel secure and safe in that relationship. You didn't do that, okay? So Virginia like, so going over and beyond is telling her that that's how you show that you love and care for somebody by telling her that you got somebody pregnant. And so he like, look, I don't need to tell you what's going on or whatever. And so Clara, she backing down. First of all, Clara, you opened up the floodgates asking what was going on between them. And now you all backpedaling and stuff talking about, oh, well, I don't need to know what the fuck is going on with y'all relationship. I'm just concerned about Paige or whatever. And so then Eric walks over there at this point. And so Virginia was like, well, this is ridiculous. And what's the boy named Chris was like, well, I found it ridiculous about the joke that you made last night or whatever. And she was like, what, asking, was it yours? Yeah. I said, well, that wasn't no joke. I think that was a real question that she had. And it was a valid question. I don't see what was wrong with the question. Vincent asked the same damn question, but he just said it in a different way. Then, are you sure it's yours? Because he was like, I mean, are you sure? Like, is there something? Like, Vincent asked the same question. If you go back and watch the episode, Vincent asked the same question when it was just him and Chris in the room. Virginia just blurted it out because she was drunk and was just like, well, are you sure it's yours? That wasn't a joke. That was a legitimate question. But at any rate, he was like, well, I don't owe you an explanation. You need to mind your business. And, that may sound real arrogant or whatever. And so Virginia was like, well, you are arrogant. He was like, okay, you're a drunkard. I said, oh, God, not a drunkard. So then Clara, she tells us in the thing talking about something, Virginia poked the bear, or no, Virginia poked the very angry man. And why would she continue to poke him? And she sees this, he's angry and stuff. And Eric is like, well, look here, buddy, we just want the best for you. That's all we want. We want the best for you and stuff. And Chris like, well, you don't need to be concerned about what's going on with me. We want the best for you when you walking around the casino drunk and stuff. And he like, what? Drunk? I might be drunk. Boy, you was drunk. So then he's like, well, I'm done with the conversation. So I'm like, what in the world? Clara walks away with Ryan. Clara says that she was getting upset because she was concerned about Paige. And then Virginia because Paige is sitting down on like this pier or whatever. And so they're all circling around Paige and like, well, we was worried about you. We're here for you. If he says that, you know, your marriage is private and we're going to respect that, but just let us know, like, if you need anything, because we'll always be here for you or whatever. Here come Chris. You need to mind your business. You don't need to be talking to my wife. I told you to stay out of our business and you want to keep being in our business and stuff. And they was like, well, we talking to Paige. Yeah, you talking to my wife. I said, nah, she your wife. Okay. So you talking to my wife, and Eric or somebody was like, well, they're friends. They're not effing friends. They're not effing friends. What you want to do? You want to sit here and talk to them, or you want to walk off with me? So he's talking to Paige. So Paige was like, all right, well, I'm going to just walk off with you or whatever, so we can just end this. And so she apologizes to everybody for him. And then they get in the van, and he talking about he tells us that they was being disrespectful again, and you don't talk about nobody. No, you don't talk about your marriage with no strangers or anything like that. And because they wanted to do all this, I'm gonna be petty as hell, and I'll make their life a living hell on this bus or whatever. So then he want to argue all over again on the bus. I don't give a F about y'all and whatever. And I asked y'all several times and all this other stuff. Paige like, that's enough. Just calm down. No, because you thought it was gonna be some kumbaya on this bus. Is you effing crazy? So I said, oh my God. Y'all. That whole part was annoying to me. Okay. Eric was annoying. Chris was annoying. Clara was annoying. Virginia was annoying. And Paige was extra annoying. Okay. All of them were annoying. First of all, Chris, you put your information out there for everybody in the group. You came to them that day, sat down in front of them that night, day 4, whatever, or day 3 that night, or night 3, and sat down with them and told them what was going on. If you didn't want them to be in your business, then you should have kept it between you and Paige and not the whole group, because you knew the group was going to have something to say. If you watch any of the other 11 seasons, you would know that when y'all come in a group setting, the producer is going to feed y'all questions. If you don't want to answer the question, then don't say nothing. Just don't say anything. If the person don't want to answer ask the question, then don't ask the question. You can easily say, you know what, I don't feel comfortable asking that question. Like, that's their business. I don't care. Whatever. But you already know what's going to happen, okay? I'm sure the producers fed that question to Clara to ask him that question about what was going on and what he was going to do after the wedding and all this other stuff. Like, I'm sure they did that. But for you to be getting so hyped up because they're going over there talking to Paige, and then you going to say they not Paige friend. Like, you don't know what kind of bond or anything they had or whatever. Then you want to blow up again on the bus. They really should just minded their business. And then Eric, he should have said something at that time when he heard that man call his wife a damn drunkard. He should have said something at that time. But no, he want to save it for that night and come back after. I'm sure, what's the girl named? Virginia told him, like, yo, you didn't stand up for me and say nothing to him when he called me a drunkard. Like, he really just called me out my name and said all these words to me or whatever like that, and you ain't say nothing. He talked to me real disrespectfully, and you ain't say nothing. Then you want to come down to the dinner time. Let's get to the dinner time, y'all. Because this goddamn show, y'all, this thing is just... And I'm already at 38 minutes, okay? And I still am not finished, okay, with this goddamn episode. So I told y'all it was going to be long. Clara, no, it's a group dinner. It's the final dinner before they about to go home, all right? So Clara says, like, this is an unnecessary dinner before they go home or whatever. She's not trying to be focused on the drama. She want to get back to their semi-regular lives and all this other stuff. A new regular, everybody talking. So then Paige opens up the thing. Now, everybody there minus Eric and Virginia. Okay, I should point that out. Paige says she appreciates everybody for being there, being open, being honest, being supportive. And she was just saying, like, everybody has strong different personalities and stuff. And she appreciates everybody. And there was some strong emotions going on. And she hopes that everybody can reconcile or whatever. Then Chris talks. And he says that he was frustrated earlier and you can't control anybody's actions, but you can control your response and stuff. And he was saying like the wound is so fresh that he got it's real touchy and stuff like that. He called his grandmom up to ask her to pray for him. And she told him, like, well, you have a wife now. She can pray for you. So, you know, ask your wife. And I'm like, he know he got a wife because earlier in the day, he was like, well, this my wife. This my wife. But anyway, he goes to Paige and asks Paige to pray for him, and Paige prayed for him and stuff. And then he realized he wasn't being a God-fearing man and stuff, and she was being a God-fearing woman, and he needed to step his game up because he done put her through so much stuff, and he appreciates her for being there and stuff like that, and he's going to work on being a better spouse and all this other stuff, child. And everybody looking like, okay. So then he goes and he apologizes to Clara and Ryan for blowing up and stuff. And he said he apologized for being disrespectful, and Clara accepts the apology, and then she returns the apology and stuff like that. And Ryan offers support, Chris offered them support or whatever. And then here come Virginia and Eric coming in late. Because, of course, they had some drinks or something like that. But Virginia comes down and she want to be extra petty. And she was like, you know what? I had a long day. I think I need some shots, of course. So, Paige, you want a shot? I said, that's some shit I probably would have did. Anyway, old Lori would have did that. Anyway, so then Eric was like, Chris, can I talk to you, whatever. I feel as though we need to establish some boundaries and stuff. And I can't ever have you talk to my wife the way you talked to her today. And if you need to say, like, we can go our separate ways or whatever, but if you need to say something to her, then you just need to come to me and just, be man to man or whatever. So Ryan was like, all right, pause. Before y'all came down here, Chris was on this apology tour and stuff like that. So I just want to let y'all know, like, you can continue what you were saying, or you can let him talk or whatever. And so Chris was like, I mean, we can go with what he just said, or he could finish. So then Eric was like, well, I'm going to finish. Okay. So then Eric was saying like, I didn't know if you was going to snap or you was going to be crazy because you was like real scary to everybody or whatever like that. And so, Chris was like, well, we're going to address what you just said, okay? Because I asked y'all to respect my privacy, and the jokes that your wife made in front of the whole group was uncalled for or whatever. And today, I was just fed up with that bullshit. And so, Eric is like, what? So, I guess he thought he was going to apologize, but that's not what Chris did, okay? So, Eric is like, all right, well, we just going to get up and leave or whatever. They was getting ready to leave, okay? Chris is like, well, whatever you want to do, man, whatever you want to do. He starts standing up like he about to fight Eric. And I'm like, is you really about to fight Eric? So he about to fight Eric. So Vincent comes jumping up and pushing Chris away. I'm like, what in the world? So then Ryan, I don't know what he was doing. Jacob's just still sitting at the table like, look, I'm hungry. I'm finna eat, okay? So Clara, like, this is crazy. She thought everybody could be civil. Virginia is over there with Eric talking about something. I thought it was going to be an apology. Did he think that was an apology? And Eric was like, well, that wasn't no apology. And he thought he was going to come at me. And then Virginia, like, if my dad and my brothers was here, it'd have been game over. I'm like, girl, shut up. And then Eric was like, then she was like, well, you did good. Thanks for defending me. And that's why I said she went upstairs and told him, like, you ain't speak up. You ain't say nothing. You need to go down there and run some game. You need to man up, okay? But he manned up to the wrong person, and he didn't even do it right. So I was just like, Vincent was talking to Chris like, well, you came in apologizing and stuff, and the way Eric came at you was uncalled for. And then Bree and Paige, they was talking and stuff, and then Paige is like, well, he apologized, and then it just went left. So they're blaming everything on Eric and the way Eric did stuff or whatever. I don't like Eric came off like real aggressive or whatever because he wanted to get his point across. Like, look, what you're not finna do is talk to my wife like that or whatever. I feel as though because Chris had just said, like, you can't control what somebody says, but you can control your reaction. He could have easily said, you know what? I appreciate what you said, and I understand what you said, but let me tell you this. And I apologize for coming off when your wife like that. I apologize for being disrespectful, yada, yada, yada. But however, this is where I was coming from. It could have been totally different because you just sat there and said that you want to control your reaction better, but then you go flip. So, like, whatever. He says he lost all respect for Eric or whatever. This is what Chris said. He lost all respect for Eric, and he hopes that it doesn't mess up his marriage or whatever. He was going off on the producer and stuff, saying like Eric came at him all wrong and whatever. And what else, child? Somebody else said something else. Oh, I don't know. It was just like a lot. Everybody was pretty much blaming Eric for what went down. And I'm like, but it was everybody though. It was Chris as well. Like, come on now. What else, child, happened? Oh, so then we see it's bedtime. Okay. It's bedtime. Clara, she says she uncomfortable with everything that happened or whatever, but she gonna mind her business and focus on her marriage. Ryan basically told her that, you know, it was a unique day and stuff, and he realized that he can't control every single body or whatever, and he usually gets upset or frustrated when people don't do the things that he wanted them to do or whatever, but he's not gonna let that stress him out. And she says she expresses herself or whatever. He pretty much told her, look, you need to calm that down and not express yourself the way you want to express yourself, because we're not going to be doing all that, okay? Because I guess he didn't like the fact that what she said at the Doom Buggies or whatever, so he has the issue with that. And she's like, I don't think I like that, because it seems like he's trying to control what I say or whatever. So she's unsure about that. Jacob and Haley, child, he's still trying to gauge her because she's still being closed off and stuff. And again, it goes before or after they had sex or whatever. And he's saying like, we have to be natural. You need to let your guard down and stuff, and don't approach it as the first date, like what Pastor Kyle said, because then you'll end up being friends and then divorce and stuff. And she's saying like something is missing, but I don't know what's missing. And it seemed like our conversations hit a wall, and is something that's just not clicking or whatever for her. And she's saying like she's getting annoyed and frustrated because he wants her to change herself in 5 days, and she can't do that. But she did say she's willing to work on it or whatever. It's day 7. Okay. So everybody waking up, they packing, they get ready to get on the plane and all that other stuff. Eric and Virginia, they wake up, they're ready to go home, hang out with their dogs and stuff. They bring up again how all the drama happened and everything like that. And at this point, Eric just pretty much want to focus on him and Virginia is still upset because Chris mad at her and it's unresolved. I said, girl, let that go. Y'all wasn't besties. You don't even like the man, so why are you upset? Bree and Vincent, they talking about going home to the dog and all that other stuff. Haley and Jacob. So apparently the couples got together again that night or something. And Haley said it was a girls' night. Okay. He said, oh, okay, well, you know, it's girls' night. Go down there and have a good ass time, you know, party it up and whatnot. He went downstairs to get something to eat. Child, he said when he turned the corner, he saw everybody there, all the ladies with their spouses. And when they saw him, they booked. I said, what? So she ain't want him down there or whatever. So it's been odd since then. I said, that's crazy and that's fucked up. Like, why would she do that? Like, that's messed up. I don't like that. Then Chris and Paige, child. So first of all, they wake up. He talking about something, what you gonna wear to the airport? You know you gotta wear something that's gonna show that ass. Then she starts saying like, you know, well, I want to know what's going on because stuff they packing up and whatever. And she's saying like it's some lingering emotions, like what's going on. I'm trying to figure out what's going on in your head. And then so he tells her that he's been in contact with the ex-fiance. They've been talking back and forth since he found out she was pregnant. And they've been talking about how it would be if they got back together and raised a child. How it would be if they was living separately and raising a child. And he tells her that he still loves her. And he don't want another man raising his baby. Girl, bye. So she like, oh, that's some crazy shit. So then she gets up and she like, it's an innocent person that you just dragged into your mess and I'm done. So then we see her, she looking at the nice view, and then she's saying like she lost and she don't know what to do or whatever. What you mean you don't know what to do? What you need to do is throw up them deuces, girl, and go. Like, what is the problem? Like, she getting on my nerves. And so she is like, she was okay with having a child. Now he's saying he want to raise the child with the mama, and she don't know if she can continue like this. So she go back into the room and she say, well, we need some clarity on what the F we gonna do, and how you not going to tell your wife you had a whole conversation with your ex-fiance about getting back together with each other and stuff. And he was like, well, we haven't talked about it in like 3 or 4 days or whatever. So, I mean, I was going to tell you, but I didn't tell you yet because you ain't asked me about the kid. You ain't asked me about the fiance. You ain't asked me about nothing. I gotta ask you now. I'm your wife though. I gotta ask you, but whatever. So she was like, okay, but we need to have a conversation. And I feel like you withholding stuff from me or whatever. And I need to know these things. And he was like, well, if I leave today, I can still get back with my ex. So that's not a problem. But me being a man, I gotta say the things that's rough. Just because you made a baby don't mean you a man, boy. Whatever. So then she's saying, he said he gave vows to her and God and in front of her. No, he gave vows before God and the family and in front of her and stuff. And she like, well, let's put things in perspective. I'm present in this marriage to see what the experts was thinking, and I care about you. Otherwise, I'd have been gone. But let's make it clear, I'm your wife, and you need to tell me things or whatever. And because all of this changes the momentum of our relationship or whatever. And my decision, I'm here to stay. And he was saying like, well, no one has to stay, but I'm staying and all this other stuff. And then he gonna tell her he's spiritually attracted to her, and now he's attracted to her. And he can see them beyond the 7 weeks. And then she's smiling. And then she says she believes in love and fighting for what you believe in. And she believes in them. And she prays that he's her person. And that this can be a beautiful love story. Y'all, and like I said in the beginning, Paige gets whatever he is going to give her. Because at this point, you can't always say, this is God, this is God, this is God, and God is throwing up the red flag. Like, I don't have no red flag, but this is a red pencil, and this is God right here. Like, girl, hello? Like, he is throwing up the red flag. Like, he is showing you all these ways that you can get out of this relationship with it out being your issue. And he can go on and be with his ex, but you not seeing that. And like I said, I felt for her, but at this point, she just falling into it. She just falling into this gaslighting, and he knows what to say to keep her around. Now he attracted to her spiritually. Now he attracted to her physically. He attracted to her all this way. And then now I want to be with you beyond 7. Get the out of here. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this show down there in them comments, okay? If y'all ended up liking this recap review, I told y'all it was going to be long. It was 2 hours and it was a lot going on, so please forgive me. And if you held through to the end, you the real MVP. Anyway, y'all, I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.